And we'll do more prizes this evening after the presentations. We also have Babyface here. So if he's here. We also want to thank, on behalf, as the coordinator for this event this week, I want to thank the staff for all your help. Put things together and moving stuff around and carrying stuff and everything setting up. So thank you very much for all your help. I also want to thank the planning committee. Some of them are here. I want to thank you for your donations and everything else. The Building Safer Communities also donated $1,000 worth of the prizes that we've been giving away all week this week. And along with that, they donated, they paid for some of the speakers' travel, their not accommodations, but their travel and their honorariums, and some of the gifts for the presenters. So with that, I want to, you're just going around to give the tickets out. So, and also, I hope you brought your tickets from this week that you got. The tickets that you got this week, I hope you brought them with you. Just go. Hang on. So our first presenter for this evening is Bobby Abitagan, who is originally from Norrie House, the late Andrew Abitagan's son. So he's going to be doing his presentation, and so let's welcome Bobby Abitagan.
Testing. This good? Yeah? Okay. Well, good afternoon. Wache ni wago maganak. Achaka mi kusit magan nito sinakasa. My spirit name is the wolf that is red, the spirit that is red wolf. I was born here, and I grew up in Churchill. So my dad is Kinoseo City, my mother was Fox Lake. And yeah, it always feels good to come back here. Not growing up here, left a lot of questions in my mind growing up. As a child, as a teenager, as a young man. And when you question where you come from, when you have questions about your life, I think one of the things that we naturally come across is a question of our self-worth. And when you don't have positive, strong self-worth, you're going to struggle with yourself in some way. Yes. Oh. Test. Volume. Good. Anyway, because I didn't grow up here, I always felt that there was something missing. I certainly wasn't missing Mr. Duncan. Yeah, but it always feels good coming back here. It always feeds my spirit. It always feeds who I am. And so I'm grateful to be here today. Thank you for the invitation. Thank you for welcoming me to my home. Thank you for asking me to share a little bit of what I've come to understand. My walk as a Innu, as a Cree person, a Cree man. When I was younger, I used to always push this stuff away, ceremonies and everything like that, and certainly paid the price for it later on. But first of all, I want to say, first and foremost, thanks to our Creator who gave life to each and every one of us. The last one, the same mantu, he gave the matsu and nina. Thanks for all the blessings of life too. For me, when I start out doing what I do, I don't work for an organization. I haven't put any organization or job in front of the work that I do, and the work that I do has been around the fires. My development has been around the ceremonial fires and spending time with the elders, spending a lot of time in ceremonies, and dedicating my life to that. I don't drink, I don't do drugs. It's been about 26 years straight commitment, and I've done a lot of work, and that work has taken me to a lot of different places. But one of the first things I do to balance myself, to ground myself before I begin the real speaking, is acknowledge the land that I'm on. I give thanks to Creator for bringing me and my friend Greg here safely, and to all the grandmothers and grandfathers that came with us. But I also want to pray in my own way. I pray through song a lot of times. So these songs that I sing are all prayer songs. So if you don't mind, just bear with me for a couple seconds, and I'll really get started in about 2 minutes. Mike?
Yeah, hang on. I'm just trying to work on it right now.
Okay. I'll just speak really loudly for now until we get this thing going. We got it. Hello? So anyway, whenever we hear the word NAAW, you know, around powwows, around ceremony, you know, the way it's translated is to sing. But if you ask somebody what that word would have meant 700 years ago, 800 years ago, 1,000 years ago, there's no way it would have meant the word sing. But that word sing, the English language didn't come here till about 450 years ago. But the way it translated comes from NAAW, meaning your mother is speaking. And if you understand the nature of songs and where they come from, a spiritual reflection of our Mother Earth, a grandmother or grandfather, have passed those songs down to us. And those songs have taken care of us, have walked with us for a long time. The spirits that those songs come from have taken care of us for a long time, have connected us to the earth. Our languages have connected us to the earth. Our way of life, our relationship to the animals. My late elder, Kuwaitan of Kanipuit, late Don Cardinal from Sucker Creek, Alberta, he told me one time that a long time ago, when our minds were pure before the English language came here, our mind was so pure and our language was so strong that all the trees understood what we were saying and all the birds and the animals, and we understood them. Our relationship to this land, to the earth, to the trees, to the water, to the animals, to the birds, the fish, everything was who we are. But along came assimilation, along came colonization, along came indoctrination. And right now, we're not as strong a version of who we once were, who our ancestors were, and we're struggling today with that. I'm saddened to hear a lot of really harsh news that come out of Norway House, not only the last couple of weeks, but it seems like since the early to mid-90s, it's been getting a little bit worse, with cocaine and addictions coming here, and then along came with that. Our children suffer, they don't have the proper nutrition, they don't have the proper clothing, because all the money that was meant for them has probably gone to drugs, gone to alcohol. And not everybody, but it's a big problem here, we all know that. But it's not because our people want to be like that. Our people do not want to struggle with addiction. I was talking to a scientist one time, a cultural anthropologist, and he said our people were one of the healthiest people in the world at one time. Our people were one of the most spiritual people on the earth at one time. Whenever you eat a moose, you eat the medicine of the moose. Whenever you eat the berries and the fish, those things fed our bodies, those things fed our spirit. Whenever we do a blessing of the food, and we give thanks to Creator for the food, for the berries, or for the fish, we know that that fish, that those berries, that meat, whatever comes out of the earth, would not have been there if Mother Earth, Grandmother Moon didn't send her medicine there, grandfather, son, the thunderbirds, the winds, everything had to be part of that in order for that food to come to us. And the spirit of those relatives fed our spirit. There's so many things, so many ways our people were strong at one time. I'm not fluent in my language, in Nanaimo, but I understand it a little bit growing up with my grandparents in church.
Check, 1 2 1 2. Check.
And as I got older, realizing now, especially through ceremony, how beautiful our language was, I really regret not listening to my grandparents when I had the chance to listen to them speak. Yes.
Good. Yeah.
Maybe not.
Testing. Okay.
I remember when I was younger, we used to go down, we spent, anywhere from a few days to 2 weeks in a trap line. And, the first time I shot a gun, I was about 6 years old. And, unfortunately, because I didn't have parents like my mom and dad, they weren't there to raise me. So I had a lot of time to run around. I wasn't good at listening to my grandparents. And by the time I was 12 years old, I had been molested. I'd broken my elbow about 6 times, my finger twice. Then I started with drinking regularly at the age of 12, selling drugs at the age of 13. By the time I was 16, I think I had a gun pointed at me a couple of times. I know one time to my head, I've been shot at, throat cut. And I grew up to be a very angry young man. And that carried on into my 20s. And I was unhealthy. And a big part of it, I probably could have spent time with my grandparents. But in our stories, there was one old man, he shared a story with me, and it was about an orphan child. He said, an orphan child is going to have a hard life, even if he or she goes to their parents. Because he or she is not going to know what it's like to be hugged just by a mother or a father. And that's how it was for me. So I had no one to talk to when I got molested or hurt. When nobody was there when I got my trophies playing hockey. Nobody even came to hockey with me to drag my equipment myself at 8 years old, 9 years old. And nobody ever gave me anything. I never had a birthday cake or anything like that. All these things that I think a child should have is in a safe house. So that's how I grew up. And so, I left Churchill at a young age. I lived in Winnipeg, I lived in Toronto, I lived in New Orleans, I lived in Edmonton for a while. Where I've lived most of my life. And over the last 26 years, I've been pretty busy dedicating my life to ceremonies. I have 2 young kids right now that live in Grand Rapids, Mississippi. Walter and Oski Tutamo cook. Their mother is Heidi Cook, Chief Heidi Cook there. And same thing with her, she doesn't drink, she doesn't do. And we do our best to give our children things that we never had. So when Walter and Oski were born, they never touched the ground for the first 17 and 18 months of their life, not until we did a walking out ceremony for them. We did their placenta ceremony right away. We did their belly button ceremonies. A lot of things we did, their naming ceremonies. They've been around sweat lodges. They've been around sun dances since they were born. They never see drugs. They don't see violence. They've never been hit. They've never been spanked. They've been called names. Yes. And they're very happy. If you look at them night and day between how I grew up and how they grew up. And I'm very happy for that. I'm so happy for that I tell Creator, I said, thank you for my children. Thank you for my blessings. I will go through my whole life again if it meant that I can have them. That's how much I have them. That's how much I love them. Love them so much to die. If I had to go through it all over again, to have them, to be with them, to be their dad, I would do that. And they're happy kids. Anybody that's ever met my kids will see that right away. Anyway, about addictions down to not really caring about who you are. And not really caring about who you are means that there's a disconnection between you, a person, and our Creator. We don't have a strong relationship with our Creator. And see, Creator's laws for us are not like human laws. A human law, for instance, say speeding. If you're speeding, and all of you guys do speed when you're on the highway for sure. A lot of times we get away with that. But when we violate Creator's laws, there's always a consequence. And there's all kinds of laws. There's hunting laws, ceremonial laws, human laws, spiritual laws, natural laws. But one of the laws Creator has for us also are called relationship laws, wakotuin. And there's order to them. There's always an order to them. And the first relationship that we have to understand is our relationship with our Creator. As you get older, the second most important relationship you have to understand is the one that you have with yourself, and you have to nurture that. If you're in an intimate relationship, committed relationship, you're married, that becomes your third most important circle. Then your children, that becomes your fourth most important circle. After jobs, friends, extended family, recreation, all those things come a distant fifth, sixth, or whatever they are. Nothing comes before these four, but nothing comes before our Creator. That's how I understand those laws. And if we try to change them, we're going to struggle with ourselves. So many of us, have suffered some kind of trauma, some kind of pain. We're guaranteed to know that as human beings. And because we have such a big loss of language, we have such a big loss of culture and identity, and dealing with things like assimilation for quite a long time now. And for the settlers, the Europeans coming after our kids, for not since the early 1900s, not when they say residential schools started in the 1840s, but I've come across information talking about.
Cutting off.
Your mic is not working. Anyway, there's documentation talking about how in 1619 and what they called.
Yeah?
You have to keep it still.
I have to keep still. There's documentation in what they call New France around Quebec now that they put up a boarding school. These people called the Recollects, they put up a boarding school, and they were taking Cree kids out of their communities, putting them into what they call boarding schools. But it's the same thing, cutting their hair, taking them away from their family, changing the way they're clothed, changing the way they talk. It's been going on for 400 years. And if you do that to any nation's children for 400 years, there's no way that nation will not suffer. And we've been suffering. We've suffered a lot of things. But that was all. Anyway, that was all prophesied long before the European people came here. And the stories that I've come across, it was. Now you can hear me. Oh, yeah. Maybe you just stay right here, okay? Can I just sit on you? So yeah, part of the prophecy says that in the future, your people are going to go through a hard time. You're going to go through such a hard time. All your people will struggle, maybe even to the point where you might lose your languages, your homes. But there's going to be a time when you start to come up again, and you'll be as strong as you were before, if not stronger. By stronger, they mean that if we ever get as strong as we were before, then maybe the rest of the world will listen to our teachings. Maybe the rest of the world will listen to our way of life, and there will be more peace and harmony in the earth amongst all nations. And when I look at the teachings, when I look at the power of our ceremonies and our languages, I don't understand how it wouldn't be good for anybody. I can see benefits of this for people all over the world. I'm trying to keep it as strong as I can. Test, okay. Maybe I can stand. Right here? Hello? Right here. I just do it without this. My hour will be 4 hours.
Bobby, let's come over here.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So anyway, you're talking about the spirituality of addictions, why we struggle with ourselves. I guess I have to talk about a story that goes back to a time before we were actually born into this world. In some of our stories, they talk about when we were in the spirit world, getting ready to come down here. We went through a ceremony in the spirit world to prepare us for coming down here. Hello? Oh yeah. All right. Let's see if this works. Thanks to that guy, whoever he is, for giving. Oh, here we go. Hello, 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 hello. Still struggling. So, okay, I'll try this. So anyway, in part of the preparations of being lowered down to the earth, we sat in a ceremony with our spiritual grandfather. One of the things that I came to understand is that when we were sitting in the lodge, and in part of the preparation, preparing our spirit to come down here, they started singing a song, and when they sang that song, our spirit, it kind of went on a journey. But when they went on a journey, they felt part of the earth enter our spirit. And then we woke up again, and then we were shared more information about what it's like to come down here. They sang again, and this time they felt the spirit of the wind to our spirit, the breath, and then the spirit of the water went into our spirit. Hello? And then part of the ceremony after that was taking that fire in the spirit world that never goes out. And they took some of that fire, they say, Creator, put some of that fire took some of that fire that never goes out and put it in our spirit. And our instruction was, when you go down there, you're going to have a hard time. There's going to feel like times when you don't have a lot of hope. That's because your spirit will be low. When there's a big fire and the spirit goes down, what happens? The darkness comes in, right? The things seem dark. And that's what they're saying is when you go down there, if you don't keep your spirit strong, then dark things will start to come to you. And we've become, our fire as a peoples all over Canada has gotten low. And as individual beings here on Mother Earth, our fires have become low. So people that are struggling with addictions, people that are struggling with suicide, people that are struggling with their own well-being, because their fires are low. But hello. So for me, before, when I was told not to go to ceremony, I think my fire started to go low. But as soon as I started going to the sweat lodge, as soon as I started going to where the sacred fires are, even in the smudge pipe ceremonies, the sun dances, the traditional powwows, it's like putting two fires together, two matches together, right? When you put two fires together, that fire gets bigger. Well, whenever I was near these sacred fires, those fires would touch that fire that's in my spirit, and my spirit would seem to feel stronger and more pure. And when your fire gets bigger, it pushes that darkness can't go in, and so it goes away, and you're able to see more clearly. You have more faith, you have more hope. You feel more free. You feel more free from a lot of the pains that we grew up with. Testing 1, 2. Hello? So there's a lot of things that go on when you are struggling with addiction, psychologically, emotionally, you know, the traumas of your past. There's so many things that could lead to addictions nowadays. But for me, the first and foremost is if you don't have a strong relationship with yourself, there's no way you're going to learn how to care for yourself, to be kind to yourself, to love yourself, you know, to overcome all the challenges of being human. NAAW is blessed with a lot of things. I know right now they're struggling with a lot of addictions, a lot of dysfunction, you know, just like all First Nations from all over. What is it now? And that's kidding. So I'm being told that they want to break for 5 minutes so they can work on the sound system. So don't forget where I was. Okay.
What, baby? Mushroom? Mushroom? Ay, baby. Come on. Ay, dear. Ay, mama.
Check, 1, 2, check. Check, 1, 2, 1, 2. Check. Check, 1, 2, 1, 2. Check, 1, 2, 1, 2. Check, 1, 2. Check, 1, 2, 1, 2. Check. Check, 1, 2, 1, 2. Check, 1, 2. Check. Check, 1, 2, 1, 2. Check, 1, 2. Check, 1, 2, 1, 2. Check, 1, 2, 1, 2. Check. Hey. Check, 1, 2.
Hello. Hello. We're good? Yeah? Okay. Hello. Yeah, I think this is good, right? Okay. Now, from the beginning, all right. Okay, I'm going to get going again here, and I think what I'm seeing to start off with is the 4 parts of being human. A lot of times, especially down south, we talk about how the 4 parts of being human are the mental, the physical, the spiritual, and the emotional. But when I sit with our Cree teachers, the old people, I understand it more. And one of my brothers, who's well known in my opinion, has very beautiful teachings. He shared with me one time, he says, the 4 parts of us are the mind, body, and spirit, and our spirit helpers, our Pawaganak, right? And that when we're born, you know, when our mothers become pregnant, there's 10 stages of life. The first stage of life is when your spirit is still in the spirit world, when your mother becomes pregnant and is getting ready to come down here, NAAW. And then at around 9 to 12 weeks, your spirit will enter your body when your body is big enough in the womb. Your spirit will enter into that soft spot in the top of the head. They call that the quantum. And then at some point you're born, 9 months, then you become oasis. But that soft spot where your spirit entered, that's where your spirit entered the body. But as you get older and you start to have dreams, or you start to see things that you never saw before, our spirit helper, when our spirit helpers start to help us, they come and go to that soft spot in the back of the head. There's a soft spot there where our braid comes out of too. When we make our braids, it's coming from that soft spot. And our spirit helpers are a very big part of us. Sometimes they'll go and find a medicine for us. Sometimes they'll go and find a person or a group of people that we might need in order for us to understand our path, in order for us to maybe understand what we need to heal. Sometimes that spirit helper will share with us in dreams some things where we need to go or some things to prepare for. But if we don't take care of that spirit, if we don't take care of our bodies, when we're abusing our bodies, say we're too angry, or we're too abusive, we use drugs, or we use alcohol, that spirit doesn't want to come back into our soft spot of our body, so it roams around. And so it stays like that until your body becomes clean again, until your mind becomes clean again, until your heart becomes clean again. And so whenever I hear people that are struggling with drugs and addiction, one of the main things I hear from them is that I feel lost. I feel lost. Whenever I hear people that are struggling too much with grief or too much with anger, I hear that sometimes too, where they say, I feel lost. And because there's a truth to that. Part of their spirit is out there wandering around, and they don't know how to come home because we've spent too much time abusing ourselves in some way, or letting unclean things into our minds, into our hearts, and into our bodies. So there comes a time when we get tired of that way of life and we go, okay, we want to heal. So part of our healing then is to stay clean, to start making peace with our past, making peace with our grief, making peace with our anger. Why are we like that? Why did we become like that? And start to love ourselves enough to overcome all those things. Because until you can do that, you can never give the best of yourself to Creator. You can never give the best of yourself to your children. You can never give the best of yourself to your partner. You can never give the best of yourself to your work. But when you really start that healing journey, for me, with being around the fires, my spirit started to grow, my body started to heal, my mind started to become clean. I started to become free from all those things that caused harm to me. And then I could feel, the dreams started to become more clear. I started to have some really spiritual dreams. I was able to see things differently than I was before. Like I would be in a ceremony and I could see grandmothers, I could see a wolf, I could see a lot of things. I could see things from a long time ago. I could see things that were going to happen. That's what happens when you become strong in yourself. And your prayers become stronger, your love becomes stronger. But right now, a lot of our people are struggling with themselves. There is a part of them missing. So for me, part of that is knowing who they are. And no matter how much dysfunction is going on in our communities, we'll never grow as a people until all of us grow. So part of the challenge to our wisdom is, even though there's people that are causing harm out there, how do we grow as a nation? How do we grow as a community? Not just the people that are doing well, but how do we get the other people that are not doing well to heal and to become better versions of themselves, so that our whole community can grow together. That's going to take a lot of things. And whenever I hear, some of the stories that I hear go back a long time ago, they say a time before humans were human. And then they said that before the two-legged came to the earth, that Wisagajak went and talked to all the plants. Wisagajak went and talked to all the birds and all the animals. And he told them, Creator's other children are going to be coming here soon, the two-legged. And you're all going to help and take care of them. So for instance, the wolf came forward and said, I'll teach them how to walk in balance and harmony with the earth.
and all I ask is that they practice humility. The buffalo came forward and said, I'll give them my body to use. The buffalo is the king of all the hooved ones, the deer, the caribou, the moose, right? So that family, they said, I'll give them my body to use for food. They can use them for tools. They can use them for clothing. They can use them for shelter. There's many things that, many parts of those animals that we can use to help people, to help ourselves live. And the buffalo said, and all I ask is that they practice manatsuin, or respect. The law of respect does not only matter here on the earth, but it matters in the spirit world. It's a very strong law to try to hold. But anyway, what do you call those things that all those plants and all the fish and all the birds and all the animals, what all these natural relatives agreed to do to help the two-legged? Those were part of what created, or what was known as original instructions. And those animals, they never forget the original instructions. Those plants, they never forget those original instructions. The birds, the fish, the waters, they don't forget those original instructions. But when Creator made our people, the Inuit people, we were also given original instructions. Sometimes we were called the people of the four directions. And when I first heard that, I thought about the four directions: east, south, north, and west and north. But it wasn't those directions that we were the people of the four directions. The direction that was given to us was our original instruction that Creator gave us at the beginning. Said, if you guys stay like this, keep these instructions, you guys will stay strong. You guys will always have a good life. Those four principles that the old people talk a lot of are kindness, caring, sharing, and truth. A lot of times I hear people, they talk about being strong. But you know, the medicine of kindness is a lot stronger than being strong. Sometimes you're too strong in your anger. Sometimes you're too strong in your fear. Sometimes you're too strong in being lazy. Sometimes you're too strong in a lot of ways that are not helpful. But when you start really becoming strong in your kindness, the kindness of your spirit, the kindness of Creator's laws, then you start to want to have a better life for yourself. But our people have always been sharing people. Our people have always been caring people long before the white people came here. Long before the people with the big boats came here. Our people were very healthy. Our people were responsible in raising our kids. Our people were respectful to our elders. Our men knew their roles, our women knew their roles, and we all filled them, and we were happy to do them. And that's part of the reason why our nations were strong at one time and why we were healthy. But today we struggle. Today we're struggling, not only here. I've had the opportunity to travel to many provinces, to many First Nations communities across the West, some in Ontario, into the States, and everywhere I go, almost every First Nations community that I go to, I see what you see here. I see a lot of dysfunction. I see a lot of drugs. I see a lot of violence. I see a lot of our children being neglected. As an example, I was in a school. I've been to about 200 schools in 9 different school divisions, and one of the teachers was telling me that one of her grade 1 students, they were asked to draw some pictures, and one of her grade 1 students drew a picture, and the teacher asked, "Oh, what is that?" "Oh, that's my mom." "Oh, what is she doing?" "She's smoking a pipe." Like in our ceremonies, we have these sacred pipes, ospaga, which never been piped before, but we call them pipe now. But that's not the kind of pipe she was smoking. She was smoking a crack pipe, right? So for our grade 1 students, or our young kids throughout all these First Nations communities to be doing this, it's not only here, it's all over the place. My buddy Greg there, he's been to several communities himself, and the same thing, same with Johnny. He's been, you know, we've had the good fortune of being to a lot of different places, and we see the same things everywhere we go. And not only that, but I've been asked to work at the jails, I've been asked to work at the hospitals, I worked at the universities, and I find that our people are the most incarcerated, the most apprehended. We're one of the sickest demographics. We fill up the hospitals. We're one of the poorest demographics right across Canada. There's no way that our people should be like that. This is our home, and a lot of people really don't understand what that means, but is this your home? I told one guy one time, I said, you know, I'm really, the way you raised your kids, man, is really awesome to me. And he said, you know, one of the things I told my kids growing up is that you always have a home to come to. And I told them, I said, that's really good. I said, but what I want my kids to know when they grow up is that no matter where they go is home. All these lands belong to our people. And as long as our people enter into each other's territories in a good way, most of the time our people were welcomed and treated with kindness wherever we went. And that's how I want my kids to grow up, not to be not to be scared of who they are. And many of us, you know, like myself, I'm 57 years old, and I remember hearing and seeing a lot of our older generations when I was in the 80s and 70s. A lot of people, nobody was doing the ceremonies. Down south, there was maybe 5 or 6 sun dances at one time. Now, Saugeen has 5 or 6 sun dances. Peguis has 5 or 6 sun dances. Down south, there's so many sun dances. There was no sun dances here. Now I know Gordy has a sun dance here. You go to Molson Lake, Muskegon, Moose Lake. You go almost everywhere you go to Nelson. Now there's sun dances. But at one time, our people struggled to practice their ways of life. Because they were outlawed in the late 1800s, early 1900s. And even when our people tried to reclaim those ceremonies back through the courts, the government of Canada they made it illegal for lawyers to represent our people in those courts. So there's no way we can get them back. So our people struggle with a big identity crisis. And even though I grew up with my grandparents took me to church every Sunday, Sunday school, the English service, and the Cree service in the afternoon. I went to Bible school. I have a lot of respect for the teachings of God. I have a lot of respect for the teachings of Jesus. I even know of a story of that man they called Jesus visiting our lands long before he went to those other lands where he went. I have a lot of respect for those teachings, the teachings of Jesus and the teachings of God, but I have to respect the teachings of our people first and who we are as First Nations, because if we don't know who we are, we don't become strong in who we are. I know that firsthand because I struggled with myself. You know, and I've seen a lot of my friends struggle with themselves growing up. I remember when the original gangs were starting, Native gangs were starting to happen in the 80s, starting in Winnipeg with the Rattlers, Main Street Rattlers, the Overlords, IP, Native Syndicate, Manitoba Warriors in the late 80s, early 90s. You know, I know a lot of those guys that participated. A lot of them have even asked me to join their gangs. But I wasn't the kind of guy that wanted to wake up having to explain myself or owe myself to anybody or owe money to anybody. I always wanted to be my own person. I did my own thing, and they weren't healthy. And I was an angry kind of guy. I seen a lot of violence in my life. But I didn't know who I was, partly because of the impacts of colonization, a big part of it because of the impacts of colonization. I figured that if there was no colonization or assimilation or indoctrination, maybe my mother and my father wouldn't have had the problems they had because their parents wouldn't have had the problems they had. And because of that, maybe I didn't have to grow up without children. I mean, without parents. I struggled with myself. I was a very angry guy. But now, when I was growing up, when I was living in Toronto, somebody would ask me, "You want to come to a sweat lodge?" I said no, kindly to that elder the first time. Then he asked me about 20 minutes later, "You want to come to a sweat lodge?" I said, "Look, man, fuck off." Because the church told me that if I go and do that, I'm going to go to hell. So I pushed away the powers, I pushed away the Sundance, I pushed away these medicines, I pushed away our sweat lodges, I pushed away a lot of things that were given to us by our Creator. All these lands were given to us by our Creator. I know a story about how that happened. That began in the spirit world. And these lands, the original lands of our people, we're not the Aboriginal people, we're the original people. Because this is the land, the heaven on earth that Creator meant for us to live in, for us to grow in, to us to prosper in. And then they came here, the terrorists came here, because they're always talking about terrorists, right? The governments, Canadian governments, American governments, not realizing they're one of the biggest terrorists in the world. They came here and they came after our children. They're still coming after our children. And when they do that, they cause so much harm in our communities, inside who we are as people. And so no wonder we're struggling with addiction. No wonder we're struggling with violence. No wonder we're struggling with incarceration. No wonder we're struggling with so much sickness in our bodies nowadays. There was one island out in the west coast, just off the coast of BC. They had 30,000 people living there one day. And when the white people went over there with their blankets, over 50 years, they were down to less than 1,000 people. You know, they wanted us to be sick. But you know what? They took away my identity. They took away my parents' identity. But now when I went to the sweat lodges, you know, I start to reclaim that. And my children now, they're not ashamed of these ceremonies. They're not scared of these ceremonies. In our ceremonies, we don't even talk about hell. That came over with the big boats when they came here. We don't use fear. We don't tell you you're gonna harm. Even though you're not living a good life, we're not taught to judge you. We're not going to say that you're going to go to hell or that you're not perfect. We talk about kindness, we talk about caring, we talk about sharing, we talk about loving each other. The way Creator wants our spirit to be, that's how we, in our ceremonies, and I find it very beautiful, and I find our language is very, very beautiful. The most beautiful language in the world, even though I'm not fluent at it, I know some, I can sing in them, but when I hear some of our strong language teachers teach about the language, and NAAW House, man, I was just telling Greg, I said, one of the big reasons I love about coming to NAAW House is that there's so many people speaking the language here today still. I know that a lot of the younger ones, they probably struggle with that, but if you look at the spirituality and the heart aspect of our language, you can't help but know that our language is the most beautiful in the world. And no wonder that long time ago, before the white people came here, the animals recognized it, the plants recognized it, the waters recognized it, because it was a spiritual language. It wasn't just a mental language or a physical language. Our languages transcended the physical. Our songs transcend the physical. We know that. Like even if you look at the word Achimwin, Ajakin and Nemoin, it doesn't mean storytelling. That what we're saying is going to go right into your spirit. This tongue is going to talk to your spirit. The story will talk to your spirit, and it'll stay there. Your mind might forget, but your spirit will never forget. That's how strong stories were for us. There's a story in our ways about the origin of stories that goes back a long time ago. And they said through these stories, if you maintain these stories, this will always keep your people strong. But we've forgotten a lot of those stories from thousands of years ago. And that's why I like sitting around the old people. I know quite a few stories myself, but when I hear some of these old people around the sacred fires, I go, man, I've never heard that one, I've never heard that one. It's a very beautiful thing. So now, what are we struggling with? Reclamation. Reclaiming who we are. There's a lot of communities where, you know, bringing back the drum, bringing back the ceremonies, their lodges get burnt down. People push them out. Not everywhere, but a lot of places still. But even that is changing because there's younger people nowadays, especially under the age of 30, that have exposure to it. They see that there's powwows happening. They see that there's ceremonies happening, and that we're not hiding our ceremonies anymore. And that it's okay to be First Nations. That it's okay to be Anishinaabe. It's okay to be an Innuit. It's okay to be Tsimshian. It's okay to be Potawatomi. It's okay to be the original people of these lands. So a lot of the younger people coming up, they have a better chance of having a better life than I did. My children have a better chance of having a better life than I did. So I'm saddened that so many of our people struggle with addiction, but addictions come in many forms. It's not only addiction to drugs and alcohol, addiction to unhealthy relationships that we have with ourselves, addictions to being in unhealthy relationships with somebody else. I asked an addictions counselor one time, do you even know the origin of the word alcohol? And she said, no. I said that the origin word of alcohol comes from the Arabic people, al-Kuhl, A-L-K-U-H-L, al-Kuhl, alcohol. And they said that the original translation of that word meant a spirit-stealing substance. When you consume that, it steals part of your spirit. And I shared earlier a little bit about our spirit helpers, how it doesn't want to come back in if we're abusing things. It's kind of the same thing for us. We see it as a spirit-stealing substance. So whenever we're indulging, abusing drugs or alcohol, we're stealing a part of our spirit. When you steal a part of your spirit, that's your real self. That spirit was in existence before you were born a physical human being here on the earth. That spiritual self of yours is who you really want to be. Because there's no greed there, there's no anger there, there's no fear there. Only when you become a human being that you start to become unhealthy in your mind, unhealthy in your body, and you start to not always give people your best. You let fear get in there, you let greed get in there, you let unkind words, gossip get in there. All the while thinking that you're okay, but in your truth you're not, because you don't really want to be like that. In your truth, you really want what everybody else in this world wants, and that's freedom, real freedom from being harmful in your mind, in your tongue, and in your actions. So you have to become strong spiritually, because your spirit, that's the first truth. It comes from the first truth, which is our Creator. And Creator only wants us to have a good life. Creator only wants us to be happy and to be healthy and to be good to each other. So I'm glad for myself personally, I'm glad. I don't think that I would have overcome the drugs, the lifestyle, the alcohol if I wasn't directed to go to those fires. And you know what? I didn't wake up one morning and go, I want to go to a sweat lodge finally. You know what happened to me? I got into an argument with a guy that just did 15 years for manslaughter, and he's looking at another 15 years for manslaughter. We were in jail that day. And the next morning, I get called to the back thinking I'm going to get in trouble for arguing with him. But really, it was that guard. That guard had a dream about me. And she was shaking, telling me, she goes, I had a dream about you 3 days ago. And I didn't know if I should tell you, but I'm going to tell you. And that dream wasn't good. She said, in that dream, we were standing in a dark place. She said, you were standing over here, but it didn't look like you. When I looked at you, you were wearing something long and white. And I called your name again, Bobby. But you didn't look at me, you were still looking that way. This time I noticed that your hair was long and white. I said, Bobby, again, you still didn't turn around. But whatever skin I can see, your hands, your feet, your face, it was dead. Your skin, everything about you was dead like a zombie. And I was getting scared, but I called your name again, and this time you did turn and you walked right by me. There must have been a bit of light coming from here because I could see you standing over there, but this time you walked right by me and there was blood pouring out of your head. And when she's telling me that, I'm wearing my little jail sweater and whatever like that, I could feel my nerves, I could feel the goosebumps. And that's the first time in my life I wanted to talk to an elder. And when I talked to that elder, he said, you need to go to a sweat. I didn't go right away. When I walked out, I spent the first three months with my old friends, partying, drinking, and all that other kind of stuff. But then I ran to this girl that was going into a sweat. And I said, can anybody go? She said, yeah, but you have to stop drinking right now. And I did. And when I went to that first sweat, something happened to me. I seen something that was very old. But for the first time in my life, I really felt at home. I cried like a little baby. And not long after that, I started to understand why I struggled with myself. Why all of our people struggle with themselves. So I went to that fire, I fell in love with the sweat, I fell in love with the songs, I fell in love with the teachings, I fell in love with all of our ceremonies, and I began my healing journey, my real healing journey. And to this day, I don't know, I've never asked for a job, I've never put a price on anything I do. I don't worry about where I need to go or what's going to happen. I've been asked to do a lot of things. I've been asked to go to a lot of places. I've been asked to go to Australia. I've been asked to go to Germany. I've been asked to go to Ghana and South Africa, or in Africa. All because of what I do now, all because I committed myself to Creator. I told Creator, I said, I don't care if I'm poor and homeless and living in a cardboard box on Main Street. I don't care if I'm alone for the rest of my life. I will never push these things away again. And I know it wasn't always like that for our people. There was a time that we couldn't accept these things. But I'm really glad that for whatever reason, that guard had a dream about me that seemed like an ugly dream, and that dream saved my life. And I finally had a chance to meet her like 20 years later. And I said, you don't know how much your dream saved my life. You don't know how much your dream saved my children. You don't know how much your dream brought teachings to over 200 schools, over 30,000 young people. Your dream with a very strong message to a lot of people. Her dream is part of the reason why I'm here today. Loving life. Loving my kids, loving our people, love coming back here. I would love to see our people become strong like that again. Even the ones that are struggling with violence out in our communities, you know, I don't know why they're like that on an individual basis, but I know that there's very strong reasons for it. But I also believe in the power of our blood. I believe in the power of our languages. I believe in the power of the laws that Creator gave us and our way of life. We're a very faith-based people, spiritual people. And I know whatever it is, we can overcome it. I just wish a lot of those people that are struggling with themselves out there would really know that, can hear that message. And I really wish that the people that are trying to do that work would get the support in their communities that they really deserve. Sometimes there's pushback from your administration, sometimes there's pushback from chief and council. For whatever reason, I'm not going to judge them, but I know that a lot of the work that needs to be done is not supported in the way that it needs to be in order for that work to be effective. But as a community, man, if we all wake up and say to ourselves, you know what, I'm tired of my kids struggling, I'm tired of seeing our young people killing themselves, I'm tired of, a lot of the drug dealers, they're killing themselves, they're killing their own kids nowadays. But you know, there's going to be a change coming. It might not happen this year, it might not happen in the next 5 years, but we are changing, we are becoming stronger as a people right across Canada, and I can see a day where our people will be strong again, where all of our children don't have to worry about growing up in a safe home or with clothing and with food. It's going to be hard, but I know the way is there. I've seen it in the visions, and it's not a vision I created. Those visions nobody creates. Those visions are shown to you from our Creator through a grandmother and grandfather spirit. And if they're shown, they must be true. There must be a way. But we have to humble ourselves and learn how to work together instead of fighting each other. Anyway, I'm going to hit the road. I'll see you later. I'm not kidding. But I do have to get going. I really love coming back here. I like, you know, whenever I come here, somebody tells a story. Like I met Sarah earlier, and I didn't realize she was friends with my mom. She said, your mom was Margaret. I said, yeah, because my mother was Fox Lake. She goes, yeah, me and your mom were friends. And I like hearing stuff like that, you know, or how my dad thought he was good at one time, and funny, I don't know. But my son is buried out here too. You know, I have a son that passed away, buried in the old cemetery here. And and the day he passed away was on the 23rd of this month, so last week would have been like 29 years ago. So I always love coming back here. It feeds me, connects me again, it gives me hope, it gives me strength. And I hope that it does the same thing for all the people that live here. It's a beautiful land. I love the way our people laugh. I love the way our people work. So yeah, I really love coming home. But I think that's it for now. Prayer is very strong. Even just saying, you know, I care about you is strong. Little things, man. You never know what one word can change a person's life. And so don't give up. Don't give up hope. You know, that's all I can say. Like I said.
Thank you very much for your presentation, and sorry again for the sound system and that. It's beyond my control. So anyways, on behalf of the committee and our host Cree Nation, we have a gift for you. I met Bobby, I don't know when, first time, but when I went to Wayway Sikapo this past summer, he did a presentation there. So I thought about him, and then I said, would you be able to come to NAAW House? Come and do a presentation during our National Addiction Awareness Week? So he said, okay. So he's here, and he'll also be doing a presentation in Winnipeg. I sit on an advisory committee for Manitoba First Nation Advisory Committee, Advisory Council. So he's going to be presenting there as well on December 10, 11, and 12. So his presentation will take place on the morning of December 12th. So if anybody's going to be out in Winnipeg, he's going to be doing another presentation over there at Canada on Pembina. So that's where he'll be presenting as well. So on behalf of NAAW House Cree Nation, thank you. And thank you for coming. Thank you, Greg, for coming here too. And our next presenter will be in the Valley. Some of us know him as Babyface. So he is going to be doing a presentation, I believe, and are you going to be doing something else as well? Imagination. He's going to do an imagination.
Are you guys driving home? Coming in.
Hello, hello, hello. How is everyone doing tonight? Wow, can you put your hands together for that awesome food? Wow. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Ian LaValle. And they also know me as Babyface on social media. How many know Babyface? Wow, eh?
Yeah, that's it.
And I'm really excited to be here. We're doing a campaign across Canada. I really appreciate the speaker that just got up here. Wow, very knowledgeable guy. I'd like to visit him sometime. You know? And it's also good to see all the elders that are here, all the frontline workers. I want you to put your hands together for the elders that are here. Wow, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And the band is in the back here somewhere. We're having some soup and sandwiches and stuff. But you know, my name is Ian LaValle. I do traveling from Vancouver to Montreal. We got back from Nunavut. We just got back from New Brunswick and Labrador. Who's Happy Valley, Labrador, and every place we've been, it's an amazing experience. And traveling and Norway House has always been a very special place to me in my heart, and this is home to me. I got family here, and I just love Norway House. I don't hesitate when Norway House asks me to come. Doesn't matter how far I got to drive, and I don't understand when people say it's too far to go. You know, it's not like you're walking. You know what I mean? You just sit there and have a coffee and you just keep going, right? And but you know, like we've been doing a lot of traveling, and I just want to say to all the people here, you know, our young people. There's a movement going on all across Canada. There's every child matters, and every person matters. Every young person matters. And I have friends that are here. I have friends that in Norway House. We need to reach our young people, we need to reach our youth. And these are one of the ways that we reach our young people is bringing speakers in and making events happen. And but I'm really happy to see different ones here, you know, the different workers. And I was just saying, I was just telling my buddy Tim, I said, is there giants here? He says, what? Giants. And he said, why? And I said, because that's a big blanket there. See that blanket right there? That's a really big blanket, right? Beautiful blanket. But you know, Norway House Cree Nation. We see all the people that are here. We see the different ones that are here. And everywhere we go, there's a drug problem, there's an alcohol problem. And I don't like that word, addict. When you use the word addict and label people as addicts, I don't like that word because, you know, nobody sits high enough to look down on anybody. Every person in this community is on the ground is level. And the moment you start thinking of yourself really high, that's when you have to reevaluate yourself, right? And don't look down on people that are struggling. And there's a lot of people that struggle openly. They openly struggle. But there's a lot of people also that struggle internally. They struggle with things inside. They just hide some stuff inside, right? And the difference between people that are into drugs and alcohol is you can see what they're doing, right? But the same people that are struggling are the people that are struggling inside their heart. And so, with that being said, you know, like our families that are struggling with drugs and alcohol, we need to try to, like, bring them back to that road where to bring them back to that sober road. And they lost their way. We need to try to bring them back closer to the road that we're walking, right? And I've been sober for 25 years. My buddy said that the other night in Alberta. But you know, drugs and alcohol in the communities, you know, like it's really taking a lot out of the communities. And you know what? I want to say this tonight. It takes a community to build a community. It takes people like you to make a society. Because without you, we can't do it. It's not the chief and council's job to fix everything in the community. They're in the office doing stuff, right? But it takes a community like you to change the community. And you know, I live with young people. At my house, I live with young people. I have a 22-year-old, I have an 18-year-old, a 16-year-old, and a 14-year-old. I live in a house of young people. And you know what? My young people call me bro. I said, what did you call me? I'm your dad, I'm not your bro. Sorry, bro. Hey. So I learned how to talk to young people, right? I learned how to, you know what? Parents, don't be offended when young people talk to you with their language. Right? Don't get offended when they call you bro, but in a respectful way. You know, like me at home, like I learned to accept the fact, you know, that's a young person's language. And my language, like I'm not a young person anymore, and I'm not an elder yet. But you know, our young people, listen, our young people, we need to, like for me, for example, I used to yell at my kids lots. I shared this in Pegwest and I'll share it here tonight. You know what? Our young people, we need to reach our young people even though they're not here. But I'm really thankful for our young people because you know what? We're dealing with a smart generation. We're dealing with a smart generation of young people. They're smart. You ever see a little baby? Like, they know how to navigate a phone. They have no business downloading an app. Like, hey, what are you doing? Like my little girl, she's 7 years old. Like, what are you doing? I'm downloading, I'm loading my Roblox on my account. They're like, how? 16-digit code? She knows how to punch it in, load it, and then use it, and she buys stuff on that. Like, I don't know what they do, but they make me buy these cars, and then they load them, and little kids, they're smart. We have a smart generation. And And you know what? I used to yell at my kids lots. And one day my daughter sat me down and said, Dad, you know what? Like every day I'll be like this. Go to bed! Turn off the Wi-Fi! I always sounded like I was arguing with my kids. Yelling at my kids all the time. And then when they go to bed, they're like laying there like... Yeah. And then in the morning, what do? Get up! The bus is almost here! Put your shoes on! I would yell at them again. And there they are sitting in the bus. And then one day my daughter sat me down and said, Dad, she was sitting right here and I was sitting right there and we were having porridge one morning. My 18-year-old girl said to me, Dad, I said, what? How do you expect us to have a good day when you yell at us before we go to bed? And you yell at us in the morning? How do you expect me to function at school? And you want me to do good at school? And then you want me to, when I get home, you want me to fix my homework? You know how much that takes out of me when you yell at me when I go to bed and you yell at me before I go to school? I think about that all day at school, thinking, why is my parents yelling at me? And you know what I did? I changed my tone of how I talk to my teenagers and my kids. The tone of my voice, I changed it. And instead of me yelling at my kids, I walked up to my 17-year-old girl. She was playing games, and I said, at night, this is what I did. Hey, sweetie, can you please go to bed? There's school tomorrow. And she looked at me like, are you okay? And I said, like, what do you mean? Like, I'm just telling you, go to bed. There's school tomorrow. And she goes, you're not gonna yell at me? You know, she was so used to getting yelled at, she wanted me to yell at her. And I said, you want me to yell at you? She goes, yeah. Like, that's the only way to go to bed, right? So, it was kind of like, so I went to my other daughter, same thing. And you know what? I want to give this key to the parents. I want to give this key to you, okay? It worked for me. You know what? I can make my kids do anything I want them to do based on how I talk to them. The tone of my voice, how I talk to my young people. And you know what? If you want your young people to listen to you better in a proper way, talk to them in a proper manner. Let them understand where you're coming from too. And that not only goes for them, for you, it goes for our young people too. You know, the way you talk to your young person, that's how they'll respond to you. If you're always going to yell at them and argue with them, guess what? They're going to be like, why do I have to listen to you? Like they'll try to argue with you all the time, right? But if you talk to them in a good way, guess what? They're going to be pushed to talk to you in a good way. Because you're good to them, they're good to you. So there's a miscommunication going on right now with young people and parents of young people. And this presentation I'm doing right now is National Addiction Awareness Week. And this is called Child and Parent Relationship Goals. And what I'm talking about right now. And the relationship with the young person and the parent and the young person. Like there's a situation in every community where young people don't understand their parents and their parents don't understand the young people. And your tone of voice matters in your house. You ever see, let me talk about a little bit about moms and their sons. Especially a mom that only has one son. You don't mess with that lady, you know what I mean? That's my baby boy. You don't touch my baby boy no matter what. I know he broke that window, but I love him so much. He was sleeping. I know you guys are just blaming him. He never broke that window. I was there. He was asleep. Don't you dare to say that about my son. That's my baby. He never broke no window. Even if he did, he was sleeping. In my language, it says, "Ik speel out with that lady. Ik speel out that his son," right? And that's how I grew up. My mom always stuck up for me all the time. And you know what? Moms are amazing. human beings. Well, I'll never understand my mom. You know what, young people? Your mom is your best friend. Your mom is your true friend. Your mom is the only person in this world. Is this getting recorded? Is it live? Wow. Okay. Woo. Let's go again. You know what? Young people, listen to this. Your mom loves you. She's the only person in this world that has your back 100%. And I want to tell young people watching on television, listen to me. Young people, listen to this. Your mom is the only person that's not playing when they pray for you. They're not playing around when they pray. When a mom prays for their child, they're not playing because they're for real praying. And how many are thankful for a praying mother? The mom that prayed for you, right? When you're sick, the praying mothers, I want to recognize them right now. The praying mothers, we love you. Wow. The mothers, you know, the mother's love will never understand. The mother's love, and it goes to show, you know, the power of love. And young people, everyone across Canada says, hey, we're doing it for the young people, we're doing it for the young people. But we don't know how to talk to the young people. You know what? Young people have a language. Young people know. Young people know when, like, they can feel vibes, right? Young people can feel a vibe. They know if you're for them or you're just trying to irritate them. It's either this. Listen to this. It's either young people open up to you or they close their door on you, and that all depends on how you treat them. If you want your young people to listen to you, listen. If you want your young people to listen to you, you have to watch how you talk to them. You can't always nag at them, you can't always yell at them and argue with them and stuff, you know, and that goes to young people too. It goes both ways. Young people need to watch how they talk to their parents too. Oh man, I got hit when I was younger. Oh my goodness, let me tell you something. I don't even care if you work in child family services, but I got hit when I was young, man. And there was a generation that never got hit. Did you notice that? These generations that got hit, did they have hair like me? They get their haircuts all the time. Reuben got hit, look at him. But you know what? There's a generation, you know, one of my little girls says, Dad, you know what? You can't hit me. I said, why? I'm going to call the cops. You know, where did she learn that from? From school. These kids learn stuff at school, man, for real. We have a smart young people. Smart young people, 10, 11, and 12, university, and education is a road to success. I'm a professional audio engineer. I work in a studio. I raise over 250 musicians, playing the guitar and singing and all that kind of stuff. And I'm babyface on the side, you know, and when we were in Pegmas last night, we did an awesome show last night. Wow, and I have my sister here. Her name is Kaylin Bird. But you know, we're really happy to come and to speak this topic of parent and child relationship support presentation. And I'll be around Winnipeg, your neck of the woods. And God, one day open if you want me to make a surprise visit to you guys. I'm in Fisher River. Around that time you were mentioning your conference. Wow, that's amazing. Keep on doing what you're doing. But you know what? We're dealing with the young people. Everyone says, let's reach our young people. You know what? I'm tired of people saying, it's all for our young people. It's time we reach our young people for real. We need to reach our young people because our young people are going down. And we need to try to reach them somehow. Let's try to do things differently. Because you know what? Sometimes me as a speaker and John as a speaker, you know, there needs to be more of us out there. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. And NAAW House, you know, like, we have awesome people here. And you know what I'm tired of people doing? Talking down on the community all the time. Oh, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening. What about the good things? What about the good things going on here, right? We have a lot of good things going on in NAAW House. Sometimes you guys forget what good things you have. Like, what about this heat? My heat at my house is so cold, my arthritis, and I'm in pain, and my dog died, and my cat ran away and never came back. But you know what? The cat always comes back. The cat came back the very next day. The cat came back. You thought he was a goner! But you know what? I want to tell you, you have some good things in NAAW House going. You guys have streetlights that tell you stop, and green, go. But one person I seen today had a red light. He just went. He probably didn't have no brakes. It's like that person went through a red light. But I don't know, like, maybe, I don't know what happened there, but, and also the beautiful wreaths and the candy canes. Oh man, you guys are like, whoever thought of that is a genius. The street lights, the Christmas themed street lights on the street lights, like, come on, you guys are like Brandon, Manitoba. Yeah. You guys copied one street in Brandon, right? That's amazing. And all the stores, and I seen some friends at the bank today. I seen that NAAW House Bruins. They're trying to fight me, but that's okay. Because everywhere I go, I always post, I'll be at this store if anyone wants to fight. And I met all the NAAW House Bruins at the Northern today. I was standing there and I said, hey, boy, you want to fight? I was like, oh, there's lots of you. But you know what? Sometimes you forget what we have. And you know what? I just got emotional today. I'm sorry. I got triggered today. When I walked in, I got so emotional because I seen all the kukums here. All the elders sitting here. It blesses my heart to see the elders walking around and still here. But you know what? We need to respect our elders. We need to visit our elders more. Because you know what? Once an elder passes away, listen to me. Once an elder passes away, she passes away with all that wisdom and all that knowledge and all those stories. And all those things that that person had, they pass away. That's why we need to visit our elders and get as much wisdom as we can from them. And I want you to put your hands together again. I want to respect and honor the elders right now. Go ahead, put your hands together. Wow. It's amazing. And I walked in here and it just blessed my heart to see everyone here on time. It kind of amazed me. Because sometimes we're on Indian time. But you know, how many know elders don't like Indian time? When the elder wants to go, the elder wants to go. I used to have a kukum in Easterville, Manitoba. When she wanted to play bingo, she was at the bingo hall an hour before bingo started. Right? But I want to ask my brother to bring my hat. I'm going to change the tone of my voice here. I'm going to put on my hat, and when I put on my hat and put on my glasses and I change my medallion, I turn into Babyface. How many know Babyface? So we changed my my medallion. This is a baby face medallion, look at that. A beaded baby face medallion. Wow, eh?
So I came out of my room and I was walking like this and I looked at these shoes right here, 2 pairs of shoes. I said, what kind of shoes are these right here? I didn't even recognize those shoes. And all of a sudden I said, whose shoes are those? I went walking over here and then in the hallway over there I seen somebody standing over there and I said, who are you? And then you know what that guy said to me? He said, come here, my boy. And I said, I'm not your boy. He doesn't even know I'm a bad kid. I just about threw a shoe at him, and so I went walking this way, and I went to play outside for a while, and I went and play in the park for a while, and all of a sudden I can see people yelling over there. They said, hey! They said, me! They said, yeah, you! I was just playing with my cars over here. I was playing with my cars. They were still yelling at me, hey, you! And I looked over there, and I thought, me! Yeah, you! Big back! They called me a big back, and I was like, what? Why are you calling me a big back for? I just about threw a rock at them, but they're too far. But anyways, I went back in the house and I went back and looked for those shoes I seen. There's not even no more shoes there, only one pair of shoes, and that guy was gone. And you know what that guy did? Say what? Yeah, over here. Real sad, what? Somebody said over here. What? Say what? They said, and that person stole my Xbox. But anyways, he stole my Xbox, but you know what? My Xbox was broken. That the cover was off. You can see the fan turning. It was an old Xbox, anyways. He can have it because there was only I spilled Pepsi on it, anyways. There was it was sticky. You can have it. Go ahead, take it. I like it anyways. So if you see, you know what I notice about our communities? How much is that word? What? Are you a bingo caller? B4. But anyway, I bought a TV one time. How many like buying stuff on buy and sell? Let me see your hand. I know all of you are cheap. Come on, lift up your hand. You always want a deal. $200, ask them for $160. You know our people always want a deal, eh? They don't want to pay full price because we're cheap, eh? I'm cheap. Okay, there was a TV, a 42-inch TV. I seen it on a buy and sell. It said there's selling a 42-inch TV, buy and sell, doing it for a friend. Eh? You ever see that on Facebook? Doing it for a friend. So I called that number. Hello? 42-inch TV, yeah? And I went and picked up that TV. You know what? The same person that was selling that TV for $42 was the same person that gave me the TV. There wasn't no friend. So the next time you see somebody say, I'm doing it for a friend, I want you to know there's nobody there. They're the ones selling that. There's no friend there. Trying to lie to me over there. So I was in Vancouver, over there. Some of you probably never been to Vancouver, but that took you one of these days when you win bingo or when your thousand clouds come in. Go to Vancouver! Go Don't laugh at $1,000. There's lots of money. I'm not gonna be laughing when it ends in their bank account. I wanna save that money. You won't save it. You'll be in Winnipeg at Tony Robbins every day. You know how I know people? You're just getting me mad, this guy, and all of a sudden, and I just kept looking at him, and I went mad, but he was talking to his wife here. How many have an Apple Watch? Let me see it. One. We have a purple Power Ranger right here. And don't worry about these little kids here. They're running around. Hi. What's your name? What's your name? Okay, go. I'll follow you. Go. Run. Run. Go. Run. I'll follow you. Okay, go. Tiny. Run. Okay, go. I think they're getting scared. Don't be scared of baby fish. I'm just trying to play with you. But anyways, you don't have to be. But you know what? Baby fish went all over, and you know what I said? These are my crew right here. That's my brother Lloyd, and that's my sister Angel, and that's her man right here. They're traveling with me everywhere. When we come in the NAAW house, you know what I've seen? I've seen lots of canarlies here. Lots of ranch dogs. The first one walking on down the road, you can just tell he gets fed lots. He walks and he's looking. And he stops. And that dog. It's a little tubby dog. And then all of a sudden I see another dog. He just walks real stiff. You can just tell he doesn't get fed. That dog, real skinny dog. Feed your dogs, man. I stopped by and I gave him a little bit of what are those again? Wedges. Fed that dog wedges. And I seen another dog, real happy dog, and here's how he walks, that dog. Really, yeah. Real happy dog. I stopped and said, come here. Yeah, that dog, you ever see that dog? Good, is it? Real wiggly his bum, that dog. Probably knows how to dance good. But anyways, I see lots of ranch dogs everywhere in Oreo. Canardly dogs. But you know why I call them canardlies? Purebred canardlies here. You know why I call them canardlies? Because you can hardly tell what they are. One had purple here, red right here, black right here. One had a blue eye and a brown eye. They lost one of their contact on this side. One of them even looked like he had eyelashes. And one had, I'm not even kidding, that one dog, when it first came in, I stopped that dog. Somebody painted the nails in that dog. Pink! I kid you not. My goodness. But anyway, we're traveling here and we've seen lots of stuff going on, and my uncle's here too. My Uncle John, where's my Uncle John? My Uncle John is here somewhere. He's over there. Hi, Uncle. That's my Uncle John. He showed me how to run real fast. I can run faster than him, you know that? I can run really fast. And you know what? After this, I'm going to go try out for the Junior B hockey. And don't laugh. I only charge them $1,000 in a room, and I'll take them to the ship. But we'll lose at the championship. But anyway, we're just traveling here, going all over. But I want to tell you a story. I want to tell you a story. I was in Saskatchewan at Priestville, Saskatchewan. I was ordering food at I was ordering some food at Subway, and I was listening to these guys, these white guys, right here, look. One was sitting right here,
and the other guy was sitting right here. The one talking was sitting like this on the table, talking to the guy like this, and the other guy was sitting like this, facing him like this. And then a couple of farmers, a couple of older guys, one was about 70, the other one was a little bit older than him. And I'm right here ordering. You can just hear them. You know when you're trying hard not to listen to a conversation? They're just talking real loud, those guys. And then all of a sudden there's me trying not to listen to those guys, but all of a sudden that guy starts talking and he says like this, look, this is how that guy starts talking to one sitting on that side. You know what, my friend, he said, real high voice, you know what, my friend, and all of a sudden that friend was like, you know that deer over there, he said there was a deer that crossed through my fence right into my yard. That deer just came right to my house and just coming straight for me. And then that guy sitting right here going, and then what? And all of a sudden that deer just coming for me, but that deer didn't even know I had my 270 with me. And I put my crosshairs on that deer, and it was game over. And that guy says, game over, what do you mean? I dropped that deer like a blanket. Went down one shot. And that's when I turned around and I went like this. You know what, sir? That's a very awesome story. Shook hands with them and you know. But you know, I used to meet all sorts of people. Babyface meets all sorts of people. I have all sorts of friends. I got the good, the bad, and the ugly. And some of you are laughing. That must be me. I wonder what group you are, eh? But you know, I want to tell the kids to wash your hands. The little kids, where are you? Baby, oh, look over here. Baby, look over here. Baby, hey! Baby, look over here. I want to tell all the kids, wash your hands, get some soap, wash your hands, get some bubbles going to get some bubbles, wash your hands, turn the water on, wash your hands, take all the bubbles out, wash your hands, tell the little kids, wash your hands, and then get the towel, and all the germs are gone. Or wiping your hands of germs? Well, we're messed up that you're wiping hands of germs. That little girl just said, don't wipe, never mind, don't wipe your hands. Just go like this. Stand there, go. Until you're all dried up. Woohoo! But you know, I just want to say thank you. Put your hands together, woohoo! So if you wanna come take some photos with me later on, how many enjoyed that comedy show? Woohoo! Baby face! Wow! I go all over the place. I did some photos. I'm gonna be posting some professional photos later on this evening. Wow! We got some professional photos done, and we go all over the place, and we tell people to follow us. And we're doing a tour right now. We're finishing off our tour in Norway House, Manitoba. We were busy the whole month of November. Put your hands together. Wow, woohoo! We're finishing off. And I'm gonna be off for 3 days. I'm gonna sleep in finally. Sleep in till about 11:30, 12 o'clock. I'm at that age now where I can't sleep in. Some of you young people are laughing, but you're gonna get there. I feel bad for, is there a band back there? Yeah. Are you guys hungry? Okay, there's lots of potatoes and beans over here. Can you give me a guitar going there? Is the guitar going on? No? Can we plug in a guitar? plug in up there. Well, plug in the guitar up there, and I need somebody to play guitar for my sister. Can you plug in an acoustic guitar up there, and then my sister's gonna sing a song here. Just one song. There's no acoustic, there's acoustic over here. Yeah, we got one. Hi, how are you, man? Why is this all blocked up here, man? And ladies and gentlemen, and all these things will be open. All right, here we go. Here's the guitar. I don't know whose guitar this is, but you can plug that in. And somebody needs to play that guitar. But anyway, we're doing a campaign across Canada. The band is setting up, and you can go tell them, Angel, go talk to them up there. But I just want to say thank you for having me. My name is Ian LaValle. I'm from Saskatoon. I love traveling everywhere. I was in Peguis last night. We had an awesome comedy show there, and we've seen a lot of people. We met a lot of people. And we'll be going to Fisher River, and I'll be around the south there next week. I'll be off for 4 days starting tomorrow, and I'll be resting up. And I just want to say thank you to the frontline workers. I just want to say thank you to Tim Falster, my buddy, for inviting me, and the organization, that the people that are on board. I just want to say thank you for having me, for bringing me out, and always treating me good here. And with that, I want to see if my sister's ready here. "15 minutes, okay. All right, they're gonna take about 15 minutes to set up, and I'm gonna ask the organizer here. Maybe we're gonna do some draws here for about 10 minutes.
Check, 1, 2, check, check.
Test, 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 test. Test, mic check. Mic check.
One, two. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. I'll make do with that. That's pretty good.
Give me one reason to stay here, and I'll turn all back around.
catch her name, but a wonderful job. The first time I've ever played that. Hope I didn't mess you up too badly. She sounded great though, right? Come on everybody, one more.